Welcome to the VX Factor Live. This is our first episode, and the VX Factor is all about profiles and entrepreneurship. We'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome again to the VX Factor Live. Happy to have Nadim Ahmed with us today. Nadim is the owner of the Venture X by the Galleria. Mm-hmm. And happy to have you. Thanks for joining us today on our very first episode of the VX Factor Live.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Sure.
You know, it's just you have to listen to me for the next 10, 20, or half an hour or so. Good luck with that.
Okay. Well, the whole idea behind this show is to profile entrepreneurs. Okay. So that's why I said it was profiles in entrepreneurship.
Yep.
So why don't we start by just tell us a little bit about your background. Kind of like where you're from, maybe where you went to school, something in your background that kind of lit the fire in you to become a business owner and an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple things. I mean, my grandfather was an entrepreneur, and he did a lot of different businesses. I mean, he came from a village in India. He went to the city, and he took. He migrated with 20 cows into the city of India and started a milk factory. So I thought that was pretty impressive. And then just his personality too. I mean, he's a Muslim in terms of religion, but even during Christmas, he would give all our neighbors Christmas cakes and during different religions. So it's just I just like that personality, him being part of the community and just supporting the community. Kind of wanted to do that myself. So that's part of it. You know, there's a lot of things that makes a person, so I can't go back to one thing. So that's just one of it. You know, but as far as where I'm from, I don't know. I mean, I'm from everywhere. I grew up in St. Louis. Went to school in Indiana at Purdue University. Okay. I did electrical engineering there. Did my MBA there as well while I was working at a pharmaceutical company. So yeah, I've traveled everywhere, you know, and in the end, it's I guess my passion has always been business. Even when I was working for companies, I would take products for them to market. You know, they would come to me with business ideas. I would look at it, evaluate it, do business case, look at competitors, present it to the company of how much money we think we could make from it, and then work with engineers to launch it. So you know, I would do the marketing, the finance part of it, and then actual project management of it as well. So, with my background in engineering and MBA, that helped with all that. So that's my background. And
well, it sounds like it was an incubator for becoming a business owner.
Kind of. I did learn a lot from that, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities I got with these corporations. You know, and I kind of wanted to use that, but it's kind of like a poker game. I want to put it all in and bet on myself versus, you know, playing with other people's money is, you know, when you don't have your heart and passion in it because you're just getting a paycheck versus I'm in this all in, and if I think I could do it for others, why can't I do it for myself? And that's really why I stopped working in corporate, quit my job at Children's Hospital, and then started this.
So what were some of the challenges for you in making that decision, kind of cutting the cord?
Sure.
I mean, had you already started your family at that time?
Yeah. So I have 3 boys. Actually, funny thing is, 1 week before I opened this, I had my 3rd son. He was about to come at the same day as the grand opening, which didn't happen, thankfully. Otherwise, I wouldn't be there. So yeah, we had challenges. Me working at Children's Hospital, having health insurance and things like that. You know, my wife was worried about all that. I don't really. I know there's fear in things like that, but I don't know. I mean, and those kind of things it didn't create fear for me or any kind of issue or concerns. It was just like I make a calculated decision and go with it. So I wasn't concerned. Yeah, there's always a question: is it going to be successful or not? But if it's not, I'd figure something else out. So it wasn't I wasn't like, this is going to be the dead end if it doesn't work out. Makes life interesting. So yeah, the challenges were making sure with my third son, with 3 kids, having an income, having health insurance, and I'm leaving all that. I left that a month before my son was born, and I started this. So, and I'm here now, I guess.
So let me ask a quick follow-up. For people who are in a situation now similar to what you were, maybe
right.
they're in the corporate world, but they know that they really want something else out of life and out of their career, and so they're thinking about kind of making that jump, that leap of faith. What were some of the things, what would be some advice you would give someone in that situation about some of the things that they need to prepare themselves for? Like,
Sure.
what was the, I'm curious to know what the ramp up was for you to actually, like, okay, this is my last week, or,
Right.
whatever, and I'm actually leaving and doing it. You seem, you're obviously a very analytical person, so what was that process like for you leading up to that? I mean, was it like 6 months before that you started like making preparations?
Sure.
Or, I mean, you just...
I've always dabbed in businesses here and there. I've done business on the side. Just is interesting to me. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like a Monopoly game, and so I've always done that. I mean, as far as entrepreneurs looking to do it, it's kind of really, I don't have an answer for that. It's really up to you. You have to really understand what you're good at, what you want to do. It's like, me being a doctor doesn't mean everyone should be a doctor, or me being an entrepreneur doesn't mean everyone should be an entrepreneur. So you really have to kind of know yourself and know what is it that you're comfortable doing, how far can you push yourself, and what is it that in the end of the day, you'll enjoy kind of doing and are good at. You want to make sure you're doing a business. Any business you do, you want to be really good at it, better than everyone else. That's why customers will come to you. So if you don't think you can be that, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. If someone else in the market is doing it equally as good as you or better, and you have no way to differentiate, I would recommend sticking to your day job. And it's kind of like the book E-Myth. I mean, if you read it if you haven't. It's like a baker. He shouldn't open up a cake shop. I mean, that's not the whole book, but that's what I got from it, because he won't be baking a cake the whole time. He would be running a business. So understand, what are you really good at? Are you really wanting to bake cakes? If that's the case, then stick in a company and bake cakes, right? So, and I mean, and then the other part of your question, I started August 2016 before like WeWork came here, and I was looking at some of the property that WeWork was looking at, and I didn't get it because it's WeWork. So I've been looking for a while. I've also been in this kind of industry in the past by selling cubicles, customized cubicles, buying them from Taiwan and selling them here customized. So I was familiar with the industry, and so I've always been looking at it, and obviously I did my financial analysis, and then competitors, things like that, what I would do for any company, and base my decision on that.
Well, cool. So when we come back we're going to take a short break here in a second, but when we come back from that, I want to talk to you about the decision that you made to buy into a franchise as opposed to starting a business on your own from scratch.
Sure. Yep.
Because I think that's something that our audience would be very interested in as well, like what drove that decision. So I think that's a good segue, to get into. So we're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Adults in the U.S. consume 5.5 hours of video content every day. Almost 1.5 hours on digital devices. 64% of consumers say that watching a marketing video has influenced a purchasing decision. Adding video to a website landing page can increase conversion by up to 80%. Are you ready to win with video marketing? Now is your chance to learn. Easy steps to add video to your current marketing. Why a 3-tiered video content strategy is best. Best practices for live video on social media. Pros and cons of professional versus DIY video, and tips for getting better results with video. Gain the confidence to grow your business and brand with video marketing. Request your speaker today.
The true definition of a co-working space is set up for the small businesses.
This is my first time foraying into becoming an entrepreneur, and so leaving corporate life behind, it's a very new adventure.
What I like about VentureX is actually the collaborative and community focus that you can get here.
The events that go on, I've actually picked up clients at these events, and some of the members here are actually my clients. I think that's a major plus.
The way Nadim is always there and is ready to listen to you and very flexible with any of your needs. That's remarkable and very, very different from all the other experiences that I've had.
I love working out of here. I love the atmosphere. I love the people. I love the fact that sometimes different members will come up and just kind of converse, and we get to kind of get out of our own heads and help each other.
I like the design of VentureX. It's motivational, it's inspirational, and each location is different and unique in its own way.
Being in the architecture industry and in the construction industry, I'm on to my job sites like 4 to 5 times a day, and so in and out is very easy here. Parking right in front of you and coming right in is very, very convenient.
If you're sitting at a desk, you're not making money in real estate. So it's nice to be able to be mobile and still have an office setting where you can still meet, greet, and potentially meet new clients even.
They have all the amenities I need, so from printers to food to coffee. If there's something I need, they'll go out and try to seek it and get it for me. So I think it's a major plus for me for what I do.
I feel like my company looks bigger than it is, which is a one-person company.
Taking away all these little headaches from an entrepreneur who, for the first time ever, I'm having to figure out how to be everything. That's an amazing thing to feel like I've got some support system behind me.
To really feel loved in the community, which helps anybody who's an entrepreneur and business owner. It's nice to know that you got a whole team of cheerleaders backing you up and cheering you on. And so that's really how VentureX has helped me.
So we're back with Nadim Ahmed from VentureX by the Galleria. And when we left off, it kind of led you into what I wanted to talk to you about next, which I think a lot of people would be very interested in. And that is why you decided to be a franchise owner, to buy into a franchise as opposed to starting something on your own from scratch.
So kind of to my earlier point, you want to be really good at what you do, and there's a lot of competitors in co-working, and to differentiate yourself and be as good as them or not have a disadvantage to them was part of the reason I went with the franchise. Could I have done it on my own? Yes. Would I be as good or have the chance to be better than my competitors? No, probably not by myself. So that's why you need the support. If I was in another business, you could probably do it with our franchise. But in this one, being so competitive, you needed those. VentureX, has multiple locations, had a specific brand that was designed by Gensler, world-renowned architects that did Google and Facebook. They had a good feel and style that I was going for, in terms of it's modern but it's still warm, and then they have a great team. They have we don't know everything we're doing yet. Obviously, we're new and we're learning and we're getting better. But the people behind it, they're all great to work for, and they're really working hard to make sure VentureX is one of the best out there.
So you were the first one to plant the VentureX flag in Dallas,
right? Well, I was actually the first one to sign a franchise agreement as well. I wasn't the first one to open because I leased my space versus owning it. If you own it, it's a little quicker. But I was the first one to open in Dallas. And now, one year later, we got 7, 8 locations and growing. End of the year, I'm assuming we'd have about 15 locations. more than any other co-working space in Dallas. And we have some different things we offer, and I'm proud of what we have created. The whole team has.
So that leads me into my next question. Obviously, it's a very, very crowded business vertical.
Right.
You kind of mentioned that before. I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of competition,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, with as quick as Venture X is expanding, so what kind of unique challenges does that present?
Yep.
From a business owner standpoint. I mean, we are members here, so we kind of know firsthand about some of the value and amenities and some of those other differentiating factors.
Right.
But what is really in your mind, what is really the big differentiator, not only between you and your competition, but also, with all the other Venture X locations opening as well?
Sure. So, we're used to like looking at schools and seeing that, okay, one school is better than another. There's this ratings on Harvard versus Stanford. Same thing with gyms. And the reason I bring those two up is because the reason I'm comparing them to co-working is because those are things you could do at home, but you also choose to do it at school or at a gym. So you could work out at home, you could go homeschooling, but you decide to go to a school because of all the additional amenities it comes with. It's not just the books, it's the community, it's everyone that comes with schools and all the resources you get. Same thing with gyms. Yeah, you could have a treadmill and workout facility at your home, and people do, but they still go to the gym. Just it's a different atmosphere, just different energy. So similar reasons why co-working spaces work. I'm not saying it's only for people who work from home. It's for corporate too. So there's a different energy, different aura, and all the co-working space. I love them all. I mean, they're all awesome. I love visiting them. They're like museums to me. So they're all unique in their own way. We differentiate in a way. We're not necessarily the coolest one in town. We don't try to be. We try to be authentic, genuine. So it's the design itself speaks to that also. We try to be warm, not too flashy, but yet still modern, open big windows, big ceilings. So you could come in and feel like a professional environment. So it's not a place where it's you come here to work and your clients could see that too, but at the same time it's not rigid. It's not a bunch of walls and hallways. So that's one way we differentiate is by the design. We put high quality furniture, and as I mentioned, it was designed by Gensler, Herman Miller Furniture, and the West Elm and all that stuff. So very high quality everything from internet to the coffee, and so we make sure of that. But along with that, another way we differentiate is, so the first way, just to summarize, is we differentiate by targeting people between like the cool co-working and the rigid executive offices. So we're in between, I would say like a WeWork and a Regus. And the second point is it's franchise owned. So you're working with the local entrepreneurs like me and many others like me who are going through the same struggle, same growth process as a lot of the companies. And I've seen that here. I've seen a lot of companies grow as I've grown, and we help each other. It's a community, and we want to just grow together. And you kind of see it's not an employee just working there. And it kind of goes back to my point when an employee is working. Not targeting employees, but you don't have it all in versus an entrepreneur who's invested their business and things like that into it. And that's why, kind of switching topics, but I also believe as employees you should be given equity or stocks or profit margins, and that's what I plan to do with my staff as well, because I want them to have some ownership of it as well. But anyway, that's on the side note. But going back, it's really because it's owned by a franchise owner. We care about our business. If there's any feedback, we want to fix it right away. We want it to be as perfect as possible. It's not something I have to send to corporate and get their feedback, and they don't really know what's going on in a local level. I hear it from first person, and I sleep at night thinking about it and get up in the morning thinking about it. So, every day it's like, what's my priorities? Because I have 100 things I have to deal with, but it's like I prioritize and figure out what's more important to my members. So.
Well, one of the things that we've noticed that we appreciate, and we've seen a lot of the kind of different brands, if you will,
Sure.
in the co-working space, and been involved with a couple of them. And to your point, one of the things that we really appreciate about your location here is the fact that it's like it's not a college frat party, but at the same time it's not stuffy.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's a nice level of kind of professionalism amongst all the members, and a good rapport amongst the members, and I think that really comes from you kind of setting that tone,
thank you.
As the franchise owner, and really working at kind of creating that environment for everyone to still be able to collaborate and kind of network and meet each other.
Sure.
And develop those relationships without necessarily having to start drinking beer at 3
Yeah.
o'clock,
Yeah.
open tap kind of,
Yeah.
situation that we've seen at a few other places. So I think it's a nice balance,
Good.
Good. So to kind of start to wrap things up a little bit, you have plans to expand here.
Yeah.
And take on even more space here.
Right.
And then I've heard you talk about maybe an additional location
Oh yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So a little sadistic maybe in that regard. But I would just be curious, and I think viewers would be curious too. Kind of now you just had your 1 year anniversary of this location. You've already started the plans for the expansion here.
Right.
To make this even more successful. Kind of what is what's your kind of 3 to 5 year outlook
Sure.
for your business, and how do you go about kind of setting setting that outlook and wanting to grow and be more successful but at the same time doing it in a way where that you'll actually be able to handle the business and handle that success.
Right. Yeah. I mean, talking about handling, you don't want to grow too fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always a concern. And it kind of goes back to my earlier point of understand what you want to be doing. Why am I doing this? Is it just to have more and more and more? And really for me, it's kind of I see what you do during the day as one of the most important things in your lives, because that's when you live, is like during your work. So make sure you enjoy it. And so for me, it's as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I'll continue to do it. So I will continue to grow and continue to expand. Like Mark said, I'm expanding this location just based on people's needs. They need training rooms. We need more office spaces. A lot of other things I'm taking in inputs on, like a photo studio and things like that, and adding that to the design. So it's based on the needs that my customers have. And then the expansion to the next location, it's really based on the opportunities, and I'm not going to force myself to do that. But it's more if it makes sense in the numbers wise, of course, but as well as personally, is that what I want to do? If I want to continue to support the community and working on entrepreneurship type of work, because at the end of the day, I would enjoy it. I don't really plan to retire. I plan to and I don't plan to work either. I mean, I just plan to just be busy with stuff that I enjoy doing. And kind of another reason why I quit corporate is I want to be just doing things that I enjoy. So yeah, we look for more venture X's, and who knows where life will take us, but hope to continue to support the entrepreneur communities around here. So.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be exciting over the next few years.
Yeah. And so, but thank you for having me here as well.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks
All
for
right,
joining us
thank
on
you.
our first episode. So hopefully everyone in the audience we learned something interesting today. I know that I did, and we hope that you will join us on our next episode next week on Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. will be our next episode of the VX Factor Live. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.